I'm here to tell you why 2024 will be the best year of Counter-Strike since 2018. And I'm not here to shame you for not knowing about why 2018 was so good or why the last 5 years of Counter-Strike were kind of fugazi, but I am going to tell you about why that was and tell you that you're in for an amazing ride this year because top 20 this year is the most unpredictable that we have seen in the last 5 years. The last 5 years of Counter-Strike have been incredibly boring. I know what you're thinking, but launders, I was having so much fun. How could it be boring? I mean, it was amazing. I'm French. I love zywoo and Paris Major, Simple in his prime, Astralis tail end of the dominance, the end of North America. I'm from Europe. None of that matters, son. The last 5 years have been boring, okay? Because it's been predictable. That's right, I said it. I mean, did we know that zywoo was going to be created in a lab like Beyond Meat or something and then rise up to take over the real meat industry and all the real meaty men like Simple? No, we couldn't have predicted that. The boring part, though, when you think about the last 5 years, you look at the stats when it comes down to Simple and zywoo and who's going to be number one. Yeah, we didn't know exactly which one of them was going to be number one, but you knew it was going to be one of them, and that's starting from 2019. zywoo's, whoa, amazing rookie year. 2020 goes online, he gets it again, and he gets that very coveted back-to-back 2 number ones in a row, right? So we got Get Right, coldzera, then we move on forward to Simple zywoo, and these are the players who have gotten the coveted double, and not only double, but back-to-back number one player of the year awards, okay? And somehow in the modern era of the game and the game's hardest possible, we now have a period of time where the peaks are getting longer for some of these players like Simple and zywoo. I mean, before it was so cool. You had Get Right and 2 years on top, and Sweden was owning in 1.6, and Get Right is the face of the game and everything like that. And then we move forward, and then, you know, Flusha donates $1,500 roughly. There's this video where basically Flusha donates some money to Fallen, then they come over, and then they have an amazing tournament, and then later we get the Luminosity SK period. Thank you, Flusha. And then it's like all about Brazil, baby. Caralho. We're fucking doing jujitsu and drinking caipirinhas on the beach and owning, right? Hanging out with Neymar and coldzera. He's destroying Liquid every single time. It's all about Brazil. It's all about coldzera. We wrap that up nicely, right? And then Olaf gets a number one, but it's like Fnatic period where like they're all insane and there's no back-to-back for him. And then Simple enters the scene. And, you know, here's where things stopped getting interesting. It was 2018. All the players have ACEZONEs. Code launders for 10% off your next pair of space zones, baby. If you want to take off in CS2 and you want positional audio that will help you feel like you have X-ray and you don't even want to tell your friends because it feels like you're cheating and you can't even take credit for your kills because you know exactly where every enemy is, you want to be using ACEZONEs, okay? They're insane. And if you came to Laundersland, you would know they were incredible. Take a look at this testimony.
Noise cancellation is perfect. You hear every single step like you're at home. It's crazy. I'm in LAN. People screaming everywhere. I barely fucking hear them. This is perfect.
I never leave the house without my ACEZONEs and boxermovement.club. Okay, for all the freshest jewelry, we made this PVD gold necklace. You obviously have to be in the bonus room to be able to get this, but our shirts are available. High quality American-made shirt, fair wage labor. We know that it was made in California and everyone got paid fairly to make it, okay? You could call them expensive if you want to, but we charge what they're worth. They're good. They're gonna last a long time. They're really good. And it's not streamer merch. It's fucking cool. So 2018, okay? This was the most interesting year of Counter-Strike. The best year ever. The best year ever of Counter-Strike. Why? Because Cloud9 won Boston. No, actually, that's only the cherry on top, believe it or not. That was an incredible thing because a long time ago, Shagwire had this quote where he said that he doesn't believe that North America will ever win a major tournament because of the nature of American players and American teams. And that extends to Canada too. I'll take some blame here. If I'm going to take some credit for having the most top 20 players in our region, I'm going to take some blame for why we can't put together winning teams consistently. And I think that's just to say that this is about all the top 20s, and having North America win in this year was special because of the year that we saw, okay? The reason that this year was incredible was because it's the last year until this year that the top one player in the world was so unclear, right? Since 2019 till now, it's been zywoo and Simple over and over again on the Lazy Susan, going round and round. zywoo, Simple, Simple, zywoo. No, I love French people. No, Simple, god of this game. Simple, cultural impact. zywoo, zywoo, too nice, zywoo, gums, simple, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's all it's been for the last 5 years. It's just that. Wow. Zywoo got number one twice in a row. Maybe he'll fall off. Maybe he'll have this incredible peak and it never falls off and he's just going to stay there. Simple, on the other hand, fighting back into it every single year, getting back to the top, back to number one. 2021, what an incredible year to have in your career. Best major run of all time. Most insane stats this year. Absolute dominance. Like the Navi, this like amazing organization in Counter-Strike at their first major, and they do it with Simple as well. The best player of all time. It's just all incredible, like, for those achievements. But the number one was obvious. The number one in 2019, it was like a surprise, but that was the last surprise. And zywoo getting it again, it's like, okay. And Simple was really close. And you could definitely argue Simple could have taken either 2019 or 2020 based on stats. 2022 goes and happens again. And in 2023, it's pretty cool. I guess you could say that zywoo does basically half the year CSGO, half the year CS2, and still lands that number one. And Simple kind of bows out of the race, sort of like he just takes a break and maybe he'll come back this year. We'll see. But either way, it's been Simple or zywoo over and over and over again. And I've been making lists this entire time. And it's never been about number one or two for what's, the fun part of making this list for me. It's like who's 3 and 4. No, it's never been that. Okay. The last time that happened is 2018. This year, think about what happened this year in terms of stories. Okay. First of all, North America wins its only major event in history. Right? Second of all, you have Astralis, the strongest year of a team that you could possibly have. Astralis, 2018 Astralis, the strongest team probably in history. No, definitely in history. And this is their best year overall, okay? So then you have Device coming out of Astralis, looking for his first number one ever in history. It comes down to the fucking wire, okay? Simple gets number one in 2018 because he earns it, bro. The amount of MVPs, EVPs, the tournaments where he got MVP where he wasn't even the winner of the event. Simple showed his absolute best rawest form. Every tournament, Simple was carrying Navi's sorry asses all the way to the grand finals or something close and showing that he is the best player in the world by far. And this is how he gets number one. While Device, who people accused him of being a system player, who was always the best player in Denmark, one of the best oppers ever, positionally maybe the best player of all time. And in 2018, he's got the perfect opportunity, guy who doesn't chase stats, to play on a team that's winning around him. Plus, he is the best player on the team and one of the best players in the world. Winning, getting high placings at tournaments. He's still getting the best stats. He's still major MVP, and he gets number two. This is the closest number two ever. Device number two to Simple in 2018 is one of the closest calls ever. When it happened, I literally said that I thought Device deserved it. I was really on this tip back then that, because he was on the best team and they had the most wins and they're in the deepest runs and he was the best player on the team, best player on best team, that he should have got it. Now I don't see that way at all. The fact that Simple had less to work with and did as much as he did, I cannot take that away from him. But my God, if Simple wasn't there, Device would have been number one in the world. And even though Simple was there, Device was this close, so close. And who was right behind Device? It's the greatest rifler of all time. niko was right behind him. Okay, this top three. In a year that you have the best team in history in 2018, performing all year round, in the year that North America wins its very first major and only major that it'll ever win, one of the greatest events to happen to North America. Cloud9 take Boston. And then not only that, the top three, you get Simple number one, his first number one, the GOAT player in the game, getting number one, and he's not on the GOAT team. And then goes on to get another one and goes on to have 5 peak years of unbelievable gameplay. And then niko, the best rifler of all time, is literally so close right behind them. And since coldzera and Get Right in the past, coldzera 2016, 2017, Olaf Meister 2015, and Flesha probably should have got one of those as well. All these number ones were riflers. This was the last time a rifler could get number one, okay? When people figured out the game and they maximized the best player using the most expensive gun in CSGO, push those advantages to their limits, we saw that it just ended up being Simple or zywoo opping all the way till the end of CSGO, okay? Insane that you have FaZe in this year, insane that you have Device on the GOAT team having their GOAT year, and insane that you have Simple, the GOAT of the game, winning while his team is not even close to the best version of the roster that he gets. That was the last and most interesting year of CS when it came to thinking about who was going to be number one, okay? I made this video specifically to talk about that. That is something that's awesome, amazing to talk about, amazing to think back on. And I want to say that this year, 2024, is going to be the most competitive, the most dubious, the most ambiguous in terms of predicting who is going to be number one this year of any year since 2018. Okay, that's what's exciting. That's the other reason that I'm making this video, to be nostalgic, to be a boomer, to relive the golden years, and also to talk about how CS2 might actually offer up something even more interesting than we've ever seen since then. All right, no more guaranteed top 2 finishes with Simple and zywoo. Simple is out of the mix, and now zywoo is completely challenged. Zywoo in playoffs, maybe his stats are decent, really they're getting better, and right now we're watching Pro League. We'll see if Vitality win Pro League. I'm recording this before we know, leaving that out there. Maybe zywoo ends MVP, and I don't mean to disparage his name in this video at all, but I'm gonna say that after PGL Copenhagen, there's a mark on the record with zywoo in his playoff games. He had Paris, and he had no problems at Paris, and he got MVP, and he went all the way through, and he beat everyone in front of him. No shame, no foul. But when it came to PGL Copenhagen, one chance to get through, no zywoo. Okay, call him sick if you want to. If you want to, they said he wasn't in that playoff game. They should have, honestly, because that's a mark on the record. That's one of your very important games in your career, and I think zywoo got on fraud watch for me starting then, but he has time to make up for it, and he's still in the running for number 1 this year, just as he always has been. So no reason to doubt that. But now you have m0NESY fully blossoming in CS2 as the kid who is probably the most knowledgeable player in the Counter-Strike. I'm gonna say there's not even a nerd out there that knows more about understanding Counter-Strike and CS2, and also how to execute it on a technical level. And at a high level, there's no doubt no one's even close to m0NESY in terms of game knowledge and how to execute on it. He has the perfect movement, unbelievable clutch genetics. He has amazing mechanics. He's very smart in 1vx situations. Like, he is the full package right now. He is in the running for his number 1 this year. I think he'll get us number 1 eventually, if not this year. But then we also have a new niko. We have donk. These players, these are the big 3 this year. These are the 3 most likely to really surprise again. And I think that donk, after we saw, he set a record at Katowice. He did the first reverse sweep, best of 5 versus Virtus Pro at the end of 2023. He's already done that. Then he had Katowice. That reverse sweep versus Virtus Pro won't count towards this year's stats, but just saying, you know, it's at Kato. He's already had the best tournament run in history, right? A 1.70 over that many maps, that many rounds, and winning the event. And Katowice, where he started in the play-in, that is the craziest run that we've ever seen, and the most unreal stats. It's actually just mind-melting to think what he did right there at Katowice. Question is, can he do it for the rest of the year? It feels like he's going to keep going, but that means donk, zywoo, m0NESY all in there. And then you have niko showing glimmers of getting back to form, and his stats are still high enough he could recover in this year. Then you have Frozen, who always gets good stats, and he's on a phase that is making every single final, and he's like the best player on the team right now, maybe him and Brokey. So him and Brokey, as well as outside odds, as well as niko. And genuinely, because it's not Simple and zywoo, there is a world where it's any of these guys this year, which makes this year so awesome, right? What would be the damn point of watching if it was predictable? So how lucky are we? We start off CS2. This new smoke mechanic is incredible. It feels like, actually, you know, subtick isn't a good thing for movement, but it is a good thing for in terms of accuracy and speed and consistent registration. The maps are starting to look beautiful, and we're getting some new good maps in this game, and we're getting players who are getting more comfortable in CS2 and starting to even say that they like it more than CSGO. Even Caserado saying that this is the best game since 1.6. So I think we've got players who are enjoying the game. We've got a lot of new contenders coming up. We've got an amazing sort of top 5 coming into the first half of the year right now, and brand new face in donk, who could literally be number 1, which is awesome. I think all of these guys are bringing attention to tournaments. They're making the game more fun to watch. They're showing us different levels and ceilings to the game, which is the greatest gift that players give to us as spectators, and we don't know how it's all going to end up. So 2024, the best year of Counter-Strike since 2018, maybe.